Welcome, everybody, to this very special mentee interview with one of our wise gentlemen e-commerce mentees, Joel. So, Joel is part of our private network. He joined our e-commerce mentorship program and launched his e-commerce business. And within 2 months, he is now making 2.5K per day. So, absolutely incredible results, and Joel is very, very inspiring to many, many people, and he's learned and progressed so much throughout this process that I had to jump on a mentee interview with him. So, throughout this video, he's going to share what he's learned through building his e-commerce business and our Wise Gentleman e-commerce mentorship program. He's going to share what he's done and what he's implemented, some of the challenges that he's faced, some of the wins that he's faced and how he's actually accomplished these wins. And most importantly, he's going to share how you can also build your own e-commerce empire and start earning 2.5K like Joel, for example. And actually, that's just the start, far exceed those numbers over time. So without further ado, enjoy this mentee interview with Joel. Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I have a very special video and a very special guest alongside me. I'm joined with Joel. So Joel is one of my mentees who I've been working alongside this year through the entire process of building, growing and scaling his e-commerce business. And Joel has an incredible story. He's super hardworking. He's an amazing person and he started seeing a lot of success within e-commerce in a very short space of time. So I've invited Joel on for a mini mentee interview so he can share his wisdom, share his results with you guys, his experiences in e-commerce, and of course, within our one-on-one mentorship as well. So, without further ado, Joel, please can you introduce yourself, buddy, who you are, etc., a bit about your story. That would be amazing.
Thanks, James. So, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Joel, and I actually come from a background in my younger years of professional rugby. When that came to an end, I transitioned into just normal working life. I had very little qualifications, just my GCSEs, matter of fact. I got a job as a letting agent. I quickly discovered that it wasn't going to be the thing I wanted to set my life towards. It was most certainly a stepping stone. The COVID lockdown hit, and that's when I kind of went my own way into entrepreneurship. And most recently was actually an online coaching business through my passion in fitness. And to be very honest with you, I always struggled to find the thing that stimulated me in all aspects, and actually came across it this year with e-commerce and starting to work with James. So my journey has been probably pretty relatable to a lot of people watching this, if I'm honest with you. I'm a pretty normal guy, but with a hunger for more than what is considered normal and your average. And I think my story here might help a few people who maybe are at a point in their life where they're thinking of going one or two ways and maybe thinking about investing in themselves and doubling down, James. So I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. What motivated you to actually get into e-commerce in the first place? What attracted you specifically to e-commerce as a business model?
So I like the prospect of e-commerce purely because, like with anything, you can take a blank canvas and create something unbelievable out of it. You could build an empire out of scratch, essentially. And although you can do this with other business models, absolutely, I think with e-commerce, the opportunity to have so many of the most effective tools at your fingertips to use and start utilizing meta ads, paid ads, which is probably one of the most powerful sales drivers on earth if you can get it right. Being able to apply a vast um, a vast a vast skill set, I think, James. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of moving parts. Obviously, for me, coming from being an online closer and then going into, say, online fitness, a lot of it was sales. Of course, if you were a good coach, it only counted probably for about 30% of it. The rest of
Yeah.
it was how you looked and then how you sold on the phone. And I think that in e-commerce, that's just one of the many nuts and bolts, as you have to have a fantastic offer and a great converting website, builds a lot of trust with the prospective customer. But then going over into the other aspects, i.e., finding the product, which is a really, really exciting experience, being able to negotiate with suppliers. Once you find a product that starts winning, negotiating price cuts, price reductions, and obviously then probably the most important aspect with the creative standpoint and just seeing the tiniest, slightest adjustments, minuscule adjustments from various creatives and seeing how much of a humongous impact they can actually make is really interesting. And I think, to be very honest with e-commerce, apart from the lucrative potential that it harnesses, I think that the challenge of taking something from absolutely scratch, just an idea, into something that you could turn into a brand one day is very, very exciting and very challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. You got the challenge, you got the money and the skills as well. And I always say this to people who are just getting started in e-commerce. Aside from all the money that you can earn in e-com, the skills that you learn in e-com can be transferred to every single online business that you start for the rest of your life. As you mentioned, whether it be product research, suppliers, or communicating or negotiating with suppliers, website building, optimizing a high converting website, building and growing social media channels, paid advertising, email marketing. There's so many different skill sets that you learn, so many different areas that you have to build within an e-commerce business. And those are the skill sets, quite literally, that can be applied to every single online business. Joel, how much did you make yesterday with your e-commerce business? I know it was Black Friday yesterday, and this was Joel's first Black Friday, which is the busiest time of the year. But how much did you make, buddy?
You're asking me this on a good day, James, to be very frank. But yesterday, just under 2.5K, so
Wow.
somewhere about 2,450. It's the best day so far. And what I think could be a good idea is if I potentially share the screen. I think that will be within the interest of people watching this, so we can hit a refresh and
Yeah.
show some numbers. Um,
Let's do it. Let's have a look at the journey of your store. So we got yesterday, Black Friday. There we
cool.
go,
Let's
2.456K.
just refresh it because you never know.
I love it.
So cool, just over 2.4K. And if we go, I think this was the day we really started aggressively scaling. And this will be interesting for people to see because it gives a bit of an understanding how this works. But yeah, it's obviously a big week,
I love
just over
that.
7K. But if we then went back, say, to when I pretty much started this particular store, which was um, around the 1st of October, you'll
So
see
this
that.
store's been around for just 2 months, this
Yeah,
store. Yeah,
exactly. And obviously, you'll see it's just only a couple thousand more over the first kind of 2 months, primarily the first 7 weeks of this store in action. But obviously, anyone who is well fortunate enough to be working with you will understand the strategies behind it and how that works. But of course, once you find something that is a winner or a winning product, then of course, you can really double down and scale aggressively. So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So just for the people watching, obviously I know because I've been working on the store, but what happened here? Because obviously you were doing what, maybe 100, 200 pounds per day at this point right here. And then what did we implement? Was it a new product? Was it a new ad creative that you added to the store that
Yeah.
caused this catalyst for you to shoot up all the way to making 2.5K yesterday?
Yeah, so we were actually, I was a bit down in the dumps, and then we actually caught up, and you suggested that I just try some different creatives for the product that I haven't actually tried because, the results were kind of fluctuating, and for some reason, this one new creative that we started trialing just absolutely exploded, and primarily about 80% of all of the sales that you see here are done through that one creative. So, once we found that winning creative, I think we just made some optimizations to the website. And obviously then with James's guidance, we scaled aggressively and have made a good start and built some good momentum. And I think that momentum in ecom is, correct me if I'm wrong, James, but vital.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And so this is what I always tell people as well, whether it be my mentees or just people who are building e-commerce stores. It only takes one ad creative combined with one winning offer and product to completely transform your results. So Joel, right here in the testing phase, testing different creatives. Now, for those who are not aware, a creative is basically an advertisement. So we run advertisements on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. And when we're running ads on Facebook and Instagram, we have to give it different videos and different images. And those videos and images that we provide to the ad platform, they're ad creatives. And the different styles of ad creative that you can run, whether it be, a testimonial style video for the product, or whether it be, for example, just a video ad of an influencer, for example. And in this scenario right here, it's a video ad of an influencer that caused this massive, massive surge, quite literally over the last 11 days. For him to make that, 11K in the last 9 days, right? Or 2.5K yesterday. That was the result of simply one high performing ad creative. And you can see the growth that you can achieve in e-commerce in a very, very short space of time once you align, the right ad creative with the right product. And so now he's found this, you know, he's now doing very, very good money for most people. And that foundation that he's built, because it's still at the very, very early stages of this store, we can now use and basically build upon that and use all of the data that we have for the winning product and the winning ad creative to massively, massively scale this. So I have no doubts that this isn't going to continue just absolutely blasting past this kind of 10K a week mark into some big, big numbers. I mean, Joel, what are your goals, buddy, for your e-commerce business? See, we're coming towards December in 2024 right now. So, I mean, in December, what are your goals? And then what are your goals towards kind of 2025 and next year?
So this is good, James. I think from working with you, yourself, your brother Phil, and obviously Elliot, I think you guys hold yourselves to an extremely high standard, right? And it trickles down. It just trickles down to us who are learning from you. So it's nice to see these numbers, but equally, it's also important to understand that once you're fortunate enough and you get a breakthrough like this, that obviously I said it, momentum is important, but what I actually forgot to say is momentum is important, to capitalize on with this. So the plan is long term. I think we'll get to that. But short term, James, is to keep, learning from you and really taking on board what I'm learning, and also just learning from the feedback in real time. I mean, anyone who's working with you will know how serious you are. And even for myself, rather than look at these results over the past few days, and obviously that it's life-changing money, rather than look at that and kind of think, wow, like let's pop up a bottle of champagne, it's more like, right, now we've got momentum. What can we go and do? And instantly, from yourself, even with you being so busy with your stores and your brand undeniable over Black Friday, you were still able to tell me to start reaching out to customers, or if you have a customer email. I mean, doing this sort of volume, you're going to get people who are asking about their order, their shipping update, etc. And once you have them there, if you're able to say reply quickly, so that they expect maybe a reply after a few hours, but if you reply quickly, you give them the information they desire, but then ask them, what actually influenced them to put to make their purchase. And I've actually just in the last couple of days gotten so much information from my customer base to go away now and implement some new creatives before Christmas and really capitalize on the Christmas boom as well. So yeah, absolutely. The short-term plan is to capitalize on this by really, really going out there and testing different angles and just taking all the data we've got and running with it. But longer term, James, I think aside from just learning the game, because there's going to be lots of ups, lots of downs, going to be challenges, just like with absolutely anything. However, I'd love to, in the long term, love to build a brand and establish, reputation, a customer base, omni-channel marketing, and potentially exit it one day. But
I love it, buddy. Super, super exciting. So, I mean, just out of curiosity for people watching, this, and obviously I know the answer to this, but did you have to show your face for this store to make money in terms of social media? Did you personally, Joe, have to film any ads for this store currently? Or did you quite literally build this entire business, made 2.5K yesterday? The business has only been around for 2 months. Did you purely do it from your laptop and a Wi-Fi connection?
James, the laptop that you're watching me from and this phone, that's all required. I didn't put my face out there. Absolutely not, no. And you'd
Yeah.
be very, very surprised. Obviously, James is here for a reason. He's done exceptionally well, and he has, a lot of information and knowledge. And if you're actually the right kind of action taker, to make the most of that, then there's no reason why you couldn't do the same likewise.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you have any experience in specifically e-commerce? I know you had obviously you had a sales role, fitness coaching, but in e-com specifically, did you have any experience before you started our mentorship?
No, no, no. I will throw a caveat in that I like to think that I'm fairly business minded. So, some of these things I'm able to learn a bit quicker. However, for the average kind of person who's likely watching this, you're likely of a similar you likely come from a similar realm, and you would have seen a lot of content out there. You've likely been watching James and the guys' content, which obviously provides a lot of value in that sense. So no, absolutely not. There's absolutely no reason why someone else who just doesn't have the grit. I think, for me, I mentioned earlier in the call that I have a background in professional rugby, and um, I wasn't very good. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on my laptop showcasing all these sales. I'd be playing rugby. Uh, But James, one thing that it did teach me is that you can't quit. You just
Yeah,
can't. You quit, you lose. So, you're going to have times where, something might not work and you can't get too overly attached to a product. You have to kind of take ups and downs and be able to show that resilience. And if you can do that and stick to the plan and stay strong, then there is absolutely no reason as to why, one couldn't replicate results as similar to mine and the ones that I'm indefinitely going to go on and achieve.
I love it, buddy. Super, super exciting. How much have you made today? Could you show us the analytics for today?
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. I think there's been a few sales since this call, but let me hit the refresh. 1 second. Yeah, so just over a K. And
One
obviously,
thousand pounds before 2:30 in the
mhm.
afternoon from his laptop, and a business that's under 2 months old as that, and only really started making sales in just about the last 10 days. I mean, for everyone watching, what would that do for your lives? How would that impact your life? How would that impact your family's lives if you developed a skill where not only you could build a business that you can do this with, but you have the skill set to be able to do this for the rest of your life with multiple e-commerce businesses, with multiple online businesses. That's what I like to really kind of hone in on everybody is yes, you can make 2.5K yesterday, a grand so far today. The busy period for e-commerce hasn't even started yet today as well, but it's the skill set to be able to take advantage of this for the rest of your life with multiple businesses. Okay, and be able to do it from anywhere in the world with simply a Wi-Fi connection. That's the power of e-commerce, and it completely transformed my life, Joel's life so far, and Joel's only just getting started. And everybody that comes in our team who commits to this process of becoming the best version of themselves in every single aspect of life is guaranteed to win. And it's a decision that you have to make. I mean, Joel, what would you say to someone who's looking to get started in e-commerce, maybe on the fence about e-commerce, if it's the right business for them, or looking to get started within our mentorship? Maybe they're on the fence about that. What would you say to someone who's in that position, perhaps the position you were in just a few months ago?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot to say. To condense it down, the first thing I'd say is to ask yourself, you know, how happy are you with your current reality, and what reality do you wish to exist within one day? Um, and understand that if you have high expectations and high expectations for your life, then there's going to have to be risks taken, and there's going to have to be output, actioned. So I think with regards to thinking about e-commerce, I've actually had a lot of people who I used to, I wouldn't say colleagues, but peers of mine who coach, online fitness clients. Quite a lot of them have reached out to me, to ask me about this. It's a very, very enticing prospect. I think it's probably the most lucrative and interesting times for us to be alive. And I think everyone is missing out if they're not learning ecom, because it has such a valuable skill set, a diverse skill set that you can apply to absolutely everything. And obviously, if you're watching this video, you're certainly watching it for a reason. And I know that people out there, you know, are very weary and skeptical, which is why I was more than happy today to jump on with James and just refresh my laptop screen right in front of you to show that, this isn't fabricated in any way, shape, or form. These are real results. I've personally met a handful of people who've worked with the likes of James and the likes of Elliot before in multiple businesses, not just e-commerce. And every one of them has had fantastic things to say. Every single one of them is living a life that I would love to live as well. And my values certainly, and a lot of the people who I have discussed this mentorship with, values, are very congruent with the values that James and the team has. And one thing I will say is that I've actually invested in mentorship before, as I believe that mentorship is extremely important. And in Britain especially, we have this mindset where people will happily pay X amount of money for a degree that in some cases they don't even ever use. However, you know, you have an opportunity to learn from somebody who's genuinely 22 years old and from absolutely scratch scaled up to like over 3 million in sales in a matter of years. It's incredible. And I think that people are really, really, really missing out. If you reframe your mindset and understand that there is real opportunity in ecom for the right sort of person, the right sort of action taker, I think it could be a very, very life-changing result if done right. But one thing I would say is to treat it like a business. I think a lot of people have skepticism around e-commerce by thinking that it's saturated, which was one of the pre-notions that I had myself. However, I'm also aware that a lot of the competition, everything is saturated, absolutely everything, whether it's the dating market, the job market, absolutely everything is saturated these days. It doesn't mean to say that there isn't room for value provided, because quite evidently there is, as the product that I've found provides value to the certain demographic that it caters for, and people are buying it. So there's certainly space in e-commerce. It's not saturated as long as you're willing to come in and treat it like a business. I think the guys online who you see and maybe are skeptical of, there's so many people preaching results. A lot of them maybe are, treat it as a side hustle. And I think if you're going to come in and treat it as a side hustle, then expect side hustle results. If you come in and treat it like a business and you operate it as such, then you can expect,
Yeah.
similar results for myself. I don't know
Yeah.
if what you think about that, James.
I agree 100%. You get exactly what you put in and what you expect out of it at the end of the day. I mean, Joel's come into it and fully committed to e-commerce. He's devoted his time to becoming the best version of himself at e-commerce, and at the same time, he's continually focusing on his personal development at a massive, massive rate, and that's played a big, big role. And 2.5K per yesterday, right? That's about 70, 80,000 pounds per month. So still only just getting started, but that's how much that is. If you just do that every single day, today, for example, probably going to hit 2.5K again. And then these results are just getting started. So, yeah, it really has been a pleasure working alongside yourself so far, Joel. We're just going to continue building empires. And thank you for sharing so much wisdom and your experience within e-commerce with everybody. I appreciate it, bud.
That's my pleasure, James, and likewise. Thank you. Thanks for the